What's going on, Terry Holloman? How are you doing?
Hey,
Hello.
how y'all doing? I think we're
I'm
missing
good.
Zach. Zach, what happened to you, man?
What? Can you not see me?
Since you are in control of the show, I think you should be here.
Oh, no. Did I
Controlling
drop
all the
out?
buttons.
Oh, okay. There we go.
You were gone.
That's right. I was. There I
There you
am. Yeah. This program's not as
are.
intuitive as the other one. Yeah. Sorry about that, buddy.
Oh, gravy. I
Yeah.
was like, I could talk, but I thought you were, I don't know if there you are.
Yeah.
Zach Burns, ladies and gentlemen.
I made it. I've arrived. Terry, I decided today to read nothing except for good vaccine news. And
Really?
yeah,
There's plenty of it.
there's enough of it. There's enough of it to like finally see that there's a path being put forward in terms of when people are going to get it. You and I, because we're extremely healthy and fit and strapping young bucks, might have to wait a little while. But all the sickly, ugly people will get it soon.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like I didn't
something, right?
I didn't think I'd see this day come for a while.
Yeah, I honestly didn't, since it takes so long for us to develop so many other vaccines, and we don't have vaccines for certain things that we've been trying to get vaccines for hundreds of years.
Mhm.
And I wasn't sure. Fortunately, we put it on the fast track, and here we are.
Yeah, well, when you have all the big pharma working on one particular thing, and they're doing it for a profit motive. I don't care. That's fine. Yeah. Make some money.
Go ahead.
When they're all working on a singular project, this goes to show how quickly they can actually get things done. It had nothing to do with any sort of government intervention or executive orders. This is millions of dollars being poured into research in the hopes that in return they'll see billions of dollars, and that's fine. Make your money.
Yep. The one thing that has been puzzling me, well, there's lots of things that have been puzzling me about this entire vaccine rollout, and I hate pointing a finger on this show. I hate being cynical and all that jazz.
Wait, you think you're the cynical one?
I mean, sometimes I pile on.
I feel like without you, Terry, we're the most unlikable show. This is why I have Santa. Like, no, I like Santa, everybody.
Who doesn't love Santa? Except for you, anarchist liberals. War on Santa. But seriously, I'm trying to figure out how we are the most advanced country in the world, so we like to fashion ourselves. We are the powerhouse of the world. We are the big brother to the entire universe. But we cannot be the first ones to get the vaccine. Like they've approved it in Saudi Arabia. They're giving shots in the UK. They're giving shots in Canada.
Yeah,
and we're the last ones on the block to get it.
Yeah, maybe it's just what we're waiting for. Do you want to take the first jab?
No, I have my own theory on that, so we'll discuss that in a second.
Yeah, I kind of I feel like we've conquered these other countries, Terry, so they can be our guinea pigs.
We'll see what happens.
The greatness of America. Yeah.
See if you grow that third nipple.
All right. Well, that's a great hypothetical. You're immune at this point from COVID, but you get a third nipple.
Get a third nipple.
Are you willing? Mark Wahlberg seemed to make it work.
Did you see the first lady in England get her shot? The elderly lady.
No.
And over there, they actually do call it a jab. They don't call it. And that kind of tripped me out too, because I was like, what are they talking about? I thought they were just using some different kind of slang. Oh, he's going to give him a jab.
Right.
Like, no, that's what they call it. Like, we're here. We say you get a shot, you go get a jab.
I like jab better.
Jab is pretty damn cool.
I kind of like it.
I didn't know it until this week. Like, I really did not know it was a real thing.
Well, yeah. When's the last time we talk about, worldwide spread immunizations at this point? Like, I feel like we're all going to learn the word shot in like 9 different languages.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And hydroxychloroquine. Who? I mean, no, man. So the English lady, she got a jab, and then she celebrated with a cup of tea.
Of course.
Of course.
What else would you do? It must have been right around 4 p.m. I think that's
Right
when they
about,
have their tea.
yeah, you had a spot of tea.
Yeah.
Going about your business.
Yeah.
Oh.
How would you feel about that if that was an American tradition?
Like a spot of tea? Like at 4 o'clock?
Or when? Yeah, I feel like it's mid-afternoon. 4 o'clock might be wrong. It might be a little bit early, but sometime around the afternoon, no matter what you were doing, you just broke it all down. You know, you put down whatever saw or whatever tool you were using, went and sat at a bench or a couple of seats outside or inside and just had a spot of tea. Do you think that would make us? I feel like that would civilize us better as a country.
I think so. I mean,
we're all savages right now.
Was that?
We're such a savage nation right
now.
We
are barbarians, really.
We are. Yeah.
Well, uncouth. I just think. I mean, I think you look at some of the other countries around the world. They do things like that, right? Like they have, like in Italy, they stop and have an espresso, and obviously in Britain they have the spot of tea. Right. In Mexico they do siestas, right? You just
they do.
What are we doing right now? We're going to take a little siesta.
That is me plugging my phone in. That's my phone wants to take a siesta. You're right. We don't really have this like relaxation time that we take for ourselves until we just drink ourselves into blackout watching Netflix at the end of the day. Yeah, if we did something, I feel like midday, especially all these things, maybe not the siesta, but all these things are social. Like it's like, let's just take an hour and recognize each other once again as like community members, as friends, as coworkers and everything. And then, we'll get back to doing work again. I feel like America could use a good dose of that.
I think we are so ingrained in our life or work. Like our work is our life. I saw somebody post something that the other day, and it's crazy. I had to really think about it and how true it is. When somebody meets you, one of the first things they normally ask you is, "So what do you do?"
Yeah.
Like as if that is supremely important. But like the meme that I saw was like people ask you immediately, "What do you do?" to determine how much respect to give you.
Right
off the bat. Like if I've met you, if you met me on the street and somebody said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm CEO of a Fortune 500 company," or "I'm a CEO of something else." All of a sudden, I might be the coolest guy, the smartest guy you might, Thank you. But if I say like I sweep floors down at the Piggly Wiggly, you're like, keep it moving.
Yeah, that's totally what it is.
Yeah.
How much attention do you deserve based on your profession?
Which is really stupid, really.
It is stupid.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of pathetic, and it's the American way, and it's sad.
It is, because at best you're going to answer questions about your job afterwards, and it's just sad that that's because we as a country have stopped pursuing like interests. All we do is pursue sports aside. Sports, thank God there's sports, Terry.
Yeah.
As stupid as fandom is, like, and everything that goes along with it. Thank God we have that, because we don't have any other realistic distractions to discuss with one another that doesn't truly get the other person upset, other than our jobs or our shitty kids or relatives or something, where you realize at that point, like, you're just monologuing and the other person is waiting to tell you about their kids. Where sports, you can actually engage in discussion. I think that's why I still like cling to an interest in it, even though like it's there's a lot of disgusting things about sports that you don't like.
Like what? What, for instance?
I don't know. CTE, overlooked domestic violence allegations, all these sort of things. But at the very least, like, I remember if you see, I lived in Kansas City for a year, and if I saw some other dude with a Royals hat on, the last thing we were talking about was our jobs. It was all about, man, Eric Hosmer really stepped up this season. Yeah, I said it wrong, everybody in Kansas City. But it's like that was at least we'd had a conversation that went beyond like, well, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, what's that like? Oh, that sounds, it was actually curious about one another's opinions about something.
Yeah.
Which I found
what's crazy about that, when we do our own self hierarchy, I guess you want to call it, our own personal stratification, I guess, if you want to call it, like when we meet people and judge them and give them the amount of respect based on what they do or what their position or what their lot is in life. I'm sometimes kind of opposite of that. Not that I'm special or anything, but like, for instance, and I think I got this from my dad a long, long time ago when I was a kid. He was always asked this question, and it was like, so if you were stranded on the side of the road and your car broke down, and you have a PhD in nuclear science, and the person riding in the car with you is a mechanic, who's the smartest person in the car?
Right.
Who's the most valuable person in the car? So, but I look at people who do stuff like construction and mechanics and people who can build things with their hands as like they're geniuses to me. Like, I can't build shit.
No,
like, unless it comes with an instruction, like that tells me step by step what to do, I'm lost. I don't care how much college I went to.
No, I totally agree with you, Derek. I thank God that there are people like that who are interested in building things. Because I don't know how you feel when you walk into a Home Depot, Terry. I could not be more disinterested in everything.
And lost.
I hate it. I don't care about screws or paint or wood or hammers. But I'm so glad that people do, because you need all those things. So I've been told to say, build this desk that I'm sitting at. If not for them, then I
would have nothing to sit at.
I would just be sitting on the floor. I would know no better. I honestly, I don't think no one's profession is of real interest to me, unless you do something just dazzling. Like if I met a fucking astronaut, I'd be like, okay, let's just stop pretending that you're not a cut above the rest of us.
Yeah, you're pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. But just most people, are proud of their professions because their professions are lucrative.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of real shitty, dumb people making a lot of money. So I'm not really overly impressed by that.
I will agree with you there.
Yeah.
So
another headline that I read, less gratifying, less hopeful, was it was Rush Limbaugh today talking about succession between some states and other. Like there's going to be some states that splinter off from these great United States of America. And my question to you, Terry, is would we even have a civil war? Or would it just be kind of a mutual, breakup? What was the conscious uncoupling, to use a term of, was it Gwyneth Paltrow or something? Like if Mississippi was like, we don't want to be a part of the U.S. of A anymore. Would we send soldiers down from the north to preserve it? Or would we just be like, yeah, fine, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that there would be I'm not worried about a civil war because I don't think there's the passion for one anymore.
Yeah. It's funny that you brought this up because it's actually been on my mind a lot. And, it's been trending on Twitter and all the years in the past when I've heard people bring it up like, oh, we're going to fight for our rights. It's civil war, all this stuff. And I used to be like, it sounds so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing what's happening right now with our federal government and this election that will not end, the people who will not let it end, this feels to me like the closest that we've been in my lifetime to that, to it becoming a reality, depending on what happens in the next few weeks. That being said, I don't think people these days have the real stomach for a civil war.
No.
I think that a lot of people talk that talk. They get on the internet and then they'll go with their buddies and cosplay. They put on their costumes and show each other's. Look at my new big gun. I got the new extension, double barrel, skim dong on it. And you know what I'm saying? And other than that, you don't want to. If you were really that adamant about shooting up something,
yeah,
you'd been in the military already. You'd been utilizing that against some poor brown people in the Middle East somewhere.
That is very true.
So,
but even beyond that, like what state right now, if they were like, we're leaving the Union, would you be like really bummed about? Like even a collection of, let's say we lost the whole Southeast. You're like, all right, well, you know.
I mean, I have family down there a little bit, but does that mean
I still get to travel?
I can travel there, right? I can get my passport and go down to the United State of Arkansas.
I guess, yeah, it would be quite. It would be Nick Saban's decision what the new country is called, and rightfully so.
No, I mean honestly. So again, there's a lot of things. I hear these people talk crazy, like we'll secede and screw the blue states and this, that, and the third, right? But if it really did happen, those states wouldn't last.
I don't think so.
They wouldn't have lasted in the original Civil War. All they had to offer at that point was what? Cotton, and people were going to get cotton everywhere else but the South, so it didn't matter. So what do they have to offer the rest of the country right now that we need in order to survive as a nation or to thrive as a nation? Kelly is the Saban. That's it. I mean, we can watch out on TV.
That's their greatest export, though. You're right, because now they don't even have free labor.
Exactly.
Their industry is really going to be struggling. Like, yeah, I don't know, because it wouldn't surprise me if a state legislature actually files formally to secede from the United States of America. Now it'll be largely demonstrative and just showing we're for or against whatever. Right. But I can't imagine now, like, let's say we had a sort of a Lincoln type president who was like, no, we must preserve the Union. I think most of America would be like, why? Do we? Like 50 seems like a lot.
Yeah,
maybe like 17 is more manageable. Yeah.
This whole Louisiana Purchase thing was
maybe if the show had been called like Kate, John and Kate plus 3, their marriage would have still survived. We have too much to manage right now. So it's like, okay, maybe we're 3 different nations, 17, 17, and 16. And we kind of just, figure out what's best about our own different regions. And there's no war, there's no brother versus brother, there's no revamping of the Confederate flag, although of course the South is immediately going to have their national flag within
we told you to rise again.
Minutes. Yeah, right.
We told you it's going to rise again.
Yeah, we told you. But I don't, like, anyone who's really worried about a civil war is not really taking into consideration the apathy that we feel towards one another when it comes down to it. There's no way, not that I'm well past recruitment age when it comes to any sort of military, which is a shame for them, because I feel like it's way too flat.
And what do you do? So here's since we're talking about civil war, this is one of the questions that always popped in my mind about it. Mm-hmm. Whatever to happen in the modern era, like, how do you know who's on whose side? Like, is there going to be like really separate armies when we have different uniforms? Do we go black to blue and gray? Like, you have to put on your costume to go in the street and shoot?
True. That's a great point.
Or do I just...
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest mistakes England made was being the fucking redcoats. Just your
right ass
your soldiers, your most identifying characteristic. And like, I don't know what's going wrong. They keep spotting us. It's just... just all in their stupid uniform rows. Yeah, I don't know how we would identify each other.
Yeah,
but it would be mostly a drone war, I imagine, anyway, because who's going to leave their house?
I mean, but the people who are on social media spouting about this and screaming, because I don't know if you saw this, but I believe it was the Arizona GOP official GOP Twitter account, and they retweeted somebody that said, I'm ready to die for this. Are you? And that came from the official
Mm.
Arizona Republican GOP Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are some. I mean, there obviously are the militia types. We seen what they were able to do in Michigan before they were thwarted trying to kidnap the governor,
Mm-hmm.
and charge
But these
her.
aren't the brightest minds, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are some who think it's going to be a real guerrilla warfare type of situation in the streets of America.
Yeah. I mean, that would almost be hilarious to see unfold, though. Just to see, you saw what was it, 16 nitwits who couldn't figure out how to kidnap one lady in Michigan. And they all they were all neckbeard dummies. Maybe it would be neckbeards. That's how you would be able to tell, who was on the other side. Yeah.
New red coat. Look for the neck. I see his Adam's apple. He's safe. He's safe.
Right. Yeah. But let's say Arizona as a whole state was like 100% on board. And like, we're going to march to New Mexico because, of course, let's take back what was once ours from the New Mexicans. And even then, it would take like 3% of any sort of National Guard to shut the fuck down any state militia, because they have weapons. They know how to. They have tanks. They have camouflage, which can come in useful in heavily wooded areas.
Yes. Of the heavily wooded area of Mexico.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. I would just let them take care of it. The thought of me actually participating in a civil war. I don't know what southern state I would be willing to die to continue being part of the Union. And I like some of the southern states, like South Carolina has lovely places. Georgia's okay, I guess, but none of these would I even take a wound for. I would not even like a boo-boo. I wouldn't even take a boo-boo.
Will you lie down and scrape your knees for Georgia? No.
No, I wouldn't.
No. Like the kind where I'd have to put like Neosporin on?
Right.
No.
No, it stings. I don't have to deal with that. I'd rather fight for Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah.
Because that would be like the great Southern surprise. Like the North just gives statehood to Puerto Rico and is like, watch out, Mississippi, the Puerto Ricans are coming from the South.
That counterattack from the back. Like, Puerto Rico! Send the message out, they come up from behind.
Yeah. This would be a very silly civil war.
Led by Fat Joe and J-Lo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Oh my God. Yeah, it's true.
Who?
No, I said that's true. That would be the two leaders that I would. It's Pitbull. Pitbull's Cuban, right?
Pitbull's Cuban, but we can bring him on. We think he'd be with us.
Right.
We're picking sides. Who do you want on your side for the Civil War? If we're picking teams, who's the first person you're recruiting for your war, for your army?
Well, fucking Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Number one, Puerto Rico.
Number one, Puerto Rico, without a doubt.
All right. I'm going to Hawaii.
You want Hawaii? You want to keep Hawaii?
You want to see? Yeah. You ever seen them big ass Hawaiian and Samoan dudes, man?
Have you ever seen like, I don't know, this is gonna sound. Have you ever seen like a young Samoan before they like become an old Samoan? Yeah. they must know what's coming.
They know.
They're 12. And they're like, well, maybe if I just run, or no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, honey. Like, you're gonna become a Samoan. It's
just be a massive just beast.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'd take them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. primarily for crowd control. I mean, they just stomp in one direction, and that
Back 'em up.
totally.
To sell. Yeah, shout out to my brother. I gotta so since before we get off this, man, since we're talking about the Civil War, man,
Sure.
we gotta touch on this a little bit because it's obviously very heavy in the news, and it's basically the reason why we're talking about the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are they doing? What the hell is going on with the people still fighting this election, with the state of Texas suing 4 other states so they could completely overturn their election? Like, not let's pick out and choose and figure out what happened. Like, no, we just want to. No, it's done. Let's wipe out your votes and say that Trump won them just because.
I don't know. It's the last grasp of. Here's what I think it is that you have a lot of politicians that became synonymous on a state level and on a federal level, but more on a state level. So synonymous with Trump, like he's my ally, I got his endorsement, all that if they lose him, they have no identity whatsoever. So they're going to do whatever they realize, like, if this guy's tossed out of office, then my particular brand of republicanism is going to go with him. So this is as much as a self-preservation as it is preserving Trump. And it's, it's a term that the right likes to use about the left, but the right does it a lot more than the left does. It's called virtue signaling. And basically, when you know something is essentially meaningless, but you just want to let everybody know where you stand on a particular position without actually doing anything meaningful about it, you do something like file a lawsuit like this. It's letting everybody know that, I also think that the election is corrupt. Even though that person, if you ask them as, hopefully as somewhat intellectual being, they realize there's no chance in hell. I mean, the Supreme Court has essentially laughed it off. And, the President Trump got a third of those people their jobs. So if they're not taking him seriously, then nobody else is going to take him seriously. Here's what I keep waiting for, is that he's going to make up some sort of space court. Where on the moon,
the new law.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to appeal to Venus then, where things are fair in space court. And I don't think it'd be 35%, but like 7% of his supporters would be like, yeah, fucking space court's the only fair court. If it's about time we got away from these liberal activist judges here on Earth, let's go to the space court.
I wouldn't doubt. It's funny because I wouldn't doubt it, man. I would not doubt it, and I'll tell you why. So I just watched a Netflix special. I think it was called "Trump: The American Dream," and I highly recommend everybody watch it. And it was completed in 2018, so it wasn't even like up to now, seeing what's going on in the world. But it gave a history of Donald Trump from like his childhood, up through his relationship with his mom and dad, up through his becoming a business tycoon, and just how much of it is real and fake, and his marriage and his children and all that stuff, right? We got to see how Donald Trump became Donald Trump. And dude, he has done some of the most like unbelievable things, man. Like some things that you would almost think were fake if you didn't know that this was an actual documentary of what had actually happened. You would never think this man would someday become the president of the United States. He turned, I'm sure Atlantic City tits up, left everybody high and dry, built like these ridiculous behemoths of casinos.
Well, Taj Mahal would have had to generated like $3 million in profits a day, which is impossible.
A day.
Yeah.
A day.
To keep up with the interest rate loans that he was accepting. Yeah, he was basically behaving like the gambler he was taking advantage of while owning and operating these casinos. But here's what I wonder, Terry. come, let's say, next February 17th, there's this new blockbuster, fucking brand new information, documentary, book, tell-all interview about Donald J. Trump, but he's been out of office for 30 days at that point. You give a shit. You want to, at that point, you want to learn more? Like, let's just say, like, it's new. Like, you think you knew shit before, you're not even going to believe it. Do you care?
I'm at the point right now, Zach, where I mean, I don't think there's anything that you could tell me about him that would just be jaw-dropping to me. Like that I would be like, oh my God, I never would think that he would have done that. Oh, that's earth-shattering. That changes my perspective on everything. I think he's at the bottom of the barrel for me. Like,
but if there was something new, do you still care because he's still technically in office? And I'm just very curious because I'm wondering, and I think that you're a great person to ask about this, how quickly interest in him will wane once he no longer has the POTUS Twitter handle or sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is a really pretentious way of saying the White House.
Yeah.
And once he's gone, how much will we be interested? Because like it's the same with like coaches, the legendary coaches. Same with radio, legendary radio hosts. They're gone, and then 3 days later, you kind of move on. I'm very curious to see because there's so many people, and I think there's no one more than the Lincoln Project who have really screwed themselves. They
tied themselves to him, or why?
The Lincoln Project, because they as Republicans trashed Trump so much,
and the entire reputation is tied to trashing Trump.
And do you think that the Republicans are going to want to have him back after that? No, they better make cash now. Wow, but I am very curious to see how quickly he fades from an A1 segment to maybe we have some time for a little 3-minute wrap up on what this ex-president is doing, and then eventually he's not part of any coverage at all. I know starting January 20th, and it's even started now, I find myself far, far less interested or scared by or concerned about anything about his tactics or his followers are saying.
Yeah,
I feel like that'll just continue.
To me, it's more about his followers at this point. What I heard someone describe him as today actually was, and it was the first time I heard it, and it kind of made sense to me, as a fading pop star, like somebody who was very popular, very influential on society for a long time, and like a Justin Bieber or somebody, somebody that came out and was on top of the world, and we wanted to know everything he was doing.
Yeah,
he followed every move they made, dressed like they dressed, and did all that stuff. And then just one day, nobody really cares. He kind of fell off, fat or whatever it might be, And that's what I'm hearing. So then I was like, yeah, maybe that's what is going to happen. And I could see it happening, except for a couple of reasons. And you kind of alluded to it a minute ago when you said that really the GOP has attached themselves to Trump.
I don't know if that's true in the sense that all of the GOP has, but I know that they want to both distance themselves and
court thing. They're going to bat for him with this entire rigged election thing.
But again, that is a minority, I think, of the GOP.
I don't know if that's the case. I think because you see, none of them have come out, and only people have come out and said Biden is the president-elect. Some of them have said, "Go ahead, Trump, and extinguish all your legal remedies to whatever you might have." And nobody's saying
you have the sycophants, and when I say sycophants, I mean more above and beyond. Who I think to be the most disgusting, putrid politician on the planet, as well as a human being. That's Lindsey Graham, who I think is absolutely a horrific. You can attack people policy-wise. I think he is a horrible, horrible human being. Yeah. Considering he has now been essentially coddling the man who trashed his supposed best friend on numerous occasions is so gross to me. I think,
Yeah.
and Graham continues to espouse all sort of conspiratorial theories about, oh, I think that it'll actually be a Trump inauguration. Lindsey Graham is a piece of shit, and South Carolina should be so embarrassed for a number of reasons to reelect him. But I think that he is one of very few who remain that way. Again, look at Mr. Hopeful. It's one of my New Year's resolutions, Terry, is that I'm going to turn my frown upside down a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be far less cranky in 2021.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Because yeah, and you hear all these stories like behind the scenes, they're congratulating Biden. None of that shit means anything to me. But I think that there's no benefit right now to coming out and saying congratulations, Joe Biden, to any sort of Republican.
But why? That's the question, though, Zach. Like, why? Like in the real world, where normal things happen, and where traditionally and historically, even in situations like we had when it was Gore versus Bush, like when it was finally time to concede, Gore was like, "All right, great fight. George W. Bush is the president."
True, but yeah, but
and that was decided.
That was Al Gore. Al Gore, Al Gore is a different beast, and that was a different time, for sure. I mean, the fact that Al Gore rescinded his original concession speech is remarkable to me. And it was about it. We still, at this point in that election, did not know who the president was going to be. Like it was still tied up in the courts. People do kind of forget that. But we know who the president's going to be now. It's just whether or not this one man will continue throwing a tantrum. But I don't know. I think that he will fade. I still do believe he will fade rather quickly in this neo-conservatism, whatever it is you want to call it, because it's really weird. I love the idea of conservatism, Terry. Like if you look at it, it's beautiful. Like it's something that we could all really buy, like smaller government. Yes. Every year, and John McCain was someone who did this. They would show you those, what were they called? Pork something bills, where it was all these, like, they would show us like, pork barrel. Thank you. It's been a long time since I said that. Where they would show you all this government waste, like $58,000. I think this was a famous one. So scientists could study the flow rate of ketchup. $110,000 so we could, see what the mating patterns of shellfish were. And it was like, yeah, as an American citizen, you're like, why the fuck are they spending their money on that shit? Yeah. Meanwhile, like, what you don't realize is they're spending $2 trillion to maybe win over Iraqi hearts. I don't know. But yeah, like
what that was when we dropped those bombs.
Yeah, some of them like us, but most don't.
We love you.
Yeah, why wouldn't I? Yeah. Because after the bombs, what most people don't realize is that we followed up with Dorito drops.
Oh, did we?
So we know you're hurting and your house is aflame, but check out these ranch flavored Doritos. Never shit like this before.
Never ever. We're gonna paint your face orange, baby.
Yeah, that goes so uncelebrated. But conservatism, especially now, it's like there's just no such thing. And that is the only thing, is that I hope that the GOP, because I think Democrats should have a healthy, robust GOP to run against, because we have to rethink ourselves all the time. And Democrats should. And it shouldn't just be us taking little shit shots at each other that make us reconsider ourselves. It should be like a GOP opposition. Like, hey, they've got a really fucking good idea this year. Let's come up with one ourselves. That's what led to Obamacare.
Yeah.
Which was
their idea originally. Yeah.
Transformative.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know. Conservatives don't really have any idealism attached to it, other than we like this one particular man. And it is my sincere hope that, as much as I strongly disagree with a lot of the tenets of the Republican platform, that they get back to some of those tenets. Like, let's fight about that shit. That policy, boring C-SPAN, Dave Ross shit. Because That's the kind of stuff that I'd love to get
That's
back
where
into.
I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it, Zach. That's why I'm less optimistic about it than you are, because traditional conservatism as we knew it growing up, I think it is non-existent right now. I think it's become Trumpism. I think there are some people on the local level, or just in their own homes, who are conservatives, of course, like traditionally, just the way that they live their lives and whatnot, but they have attached themselves to this Trumpism as opposed to moving more centrist, or saying, I want to be a part of this thing that Joe Biden has going on over here, or moving back to where they even were before. Because I think they've seen that there's so many numbers that are associated with Donald Trump, such a movement, and they're caught up in that movement and that cult of personality, that they've chosen to attach themselves to that wagon, as opposed to being with a traditional conservative in our minds what that is. And that's
you brought up cult of personality. Cult of personalities die when the personality goes away. Like the Manson crew fell apart once Manson went away. There was no follow-up Manson. That is as strong as a cult of personality can be, when that person is holding 7-8 rallies a week or whatever. When that isn't happening, that cult of personality dwindles, whereas a party of ideas sustains.
Do you think he's going away?
Yeah.
Unless he literally goes away, do you think he's going to go away?
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to become so. This is my prediction for next year. He rages constantly. He's very upset. Like his Twitter feed on January 20th, 2021 is going to be I stole all this. And then he's going to announce his next media project. He's going to pretend to buy a station that's going to compete with Fox News. But what's going to happen in the end is he's probably going to do a podcast for a little while, and then he's going to get bored with it. And then that'll be it. Yeah. That'll be it. And then that'll be it. I think that's all. It's going to be, he's going to have hysterical live reads. No, hey, are you comfortable in your mattress? Have you tried a Casper mask? This fucking mattress comes in a box. It doesn't make any sense to me.
That would be great. That would be great.
It would be great.
I want anybody that's listening right now or watching anywhere you are to chime in. Do you think Donald Trump's going to go away? What your opinion is? Because I'm going to tell you what.
I don't think he'll want to, but I think that this will be the only thing available to him. No, this will be it. Who's going to pay him?
Unless he goes to jail, they're paying him right now.
But they're paying because he's president.
They've been giving him $200 million to just the average Joes on the street that don't have money. People that don't have jobs are sending them money right now to help him fight the lawsuit that he's not using the money to fight.
Exactly, but he won't be president at that point.
But it doesn't matter.
He'll be selling Bomba socks on his podcast. Wait, they give a pair away every time they sell a pair? Why don't they just sell 2 pairs? Keep that. I don't do a Trump impression.
Dude, I can't do it either. It's you got to work on it.
I don't want to be good at it, because it's at this point it's too late. I should have been working on like March 2015. Yeah, you got the hands. Yeah.
I tell you, it's gonna be unbelievable.
That's not bad. That's actually good.
Yeah. So again, this is why I say I know there's one thing in the world that Donald Trump loves more than anything else on the planet, and it's Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump. Well, McDonald's too. That's maybe a tie. But going back to the documentary that I watched the other night, and again, that's why I say I think everybody needs to watch it to just understand how incorrigible he is and how pathological he is. So, for instance, there was a segment in here when he had left Ivana, he left his first wife, and was dating Melania, or not Melania, Marla Staples, right?
Marla Maples,
whatever her name is. It's one of the Staples sisters. No, Marla Maples, right? And so they were on the rocks, kind of. And so one of the big tabloid magazines called the Trump organization to get his input on what was going on. And they said, oh, his new assistant will talk to you, John Miller. And they put John Miller on, and they played the tape on this documentary of John Miller. It's Donald Trump.
I know.
Pretending to be somebody named John Miller. And he says,
he called as his own publicist.
He's his own publicist, but he's John Miller.
Yeah.
But listen to him in his voice, pretend to be John Miller, say stuff like, oh yeah, Marla really wants him back. She's trying really hard to get him back, but he has lots of offers from lots of women, movie stars, models, people you would know, people that are on movies. They all want Donald. Okay, he's doing very well in business. He's so sexy.
I do have to ask this. Had he not become president, and we were talking about this, we'd be talking about it in a very different way. Because that's a fucking awesome thing to do. to be your own publicist, and then your message is, oh my God, he is drowning in coups. You have no idea. No idea at all. That's such an awesome fucking move. Except that the thing is that then he eventually became the most powerful man in the world.
But that lets you know, like, what you're capable of doing. Like, you are such a pathological liar that you could, on your own voice, call up a magazine. Like, I was trying to think, I would love to have, like a full-time job on TV or the radio or something. Like, what if I was to call up like one of these stations and be like, yeah, I'm a publicist for Terry Holloman. Like, everybody's really trying to get him right now. They're down in LA. The Paramount Studios are trying to sign him to a long-term deal. But he said he would do a show here in Seattle for you guys.
Right.
I mean, it's
I
think I could talk him into it.
Well, maybe you should try it. Maybe it works. Because I don't know, Terry, maybe I don't know if they indicate in the doc whether or not the whatever news outlet had him on at the time pretended that they didn't know it was Donald Trump. They did. No, they did. Okay.
She said she was like this. She was like, he thinks I don't know. We're like, keep him talking. Keep him talking.
But that's just such a great, it is, all these stories are amazing until like the last chapter is he comes down the escalator and makes his announcement speech. And then it's like, oh, that's right. There's this dark part. But everything leading up to it is just,
it's great.
Not for the people he bankrupted or whatever. Or
right.
But or the 15-year-olds he spied on or changing. But other than that, the story you just told me, that sounds like a really fun dude to be around.
If you caught your friend, if you caught your friend, your best friend right now.
Yeah.
There's some chick he was really after. He was really after her a lot. And then you just caught him on the phone one day. He was like, hey, what's up? This is Zach. Hey, I got to tell you about my friend, John. He's like, all the girls want him. He makes so much freaking money. And he spends it on chicks and flies around the world. And he's just beating the chicks off him.
Right.
But he likes you, though. He thinks you're pretty cool.
You're right. Yeah, he's willing to put aside all those other ladies.
You would call that dude like day in and day out. You like, dude.
I would. I'm sure I would. But I still feel like I'd want to be around someone who tried to do that. Would I make fun of him? Because if I were in the room at the time with Donald, I'd be like, what are you doing, man? Because especially he could hire 1,000 John Millers. Like an actual man named John Miller, and be like, say this.
Say this, exactly.
But instead he wanted to say it, not realizing he is one of the most recognizable cadences in the world. He wanted to do it himself. Honestly, I would have died to have been in that room.
And he was using like the full on Donald Trump, like all his euphemisms. Like,
totally.
It's gonna be huge. He's gonna do another deal right now. His business, it's incredible. You wouldn't even believe it.
Numbers have not been invented yet to describe his wealth.
So yeah, so when I saw things like that, I'm like, that's the dude. And then they showed again how he, like, his big inspiration the last time around, because he ran for president before. I don't think a lot of people know this. Like, he was thinking of, like, he didn't actually run.
No, he teased it out for a while. Yeah,
he was like deep into it. Like, he was like trying to be the nominee for the Reform Party.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, and he was really, like, he was up there to the last minute until Buchanan knocked him out of the race.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, after that, he went back into looking into it again. Do you know who inspired him? Who he researched and spent time with campaigning to understand how to do this?
I mean, the only answer I can think of is himself.
Nope. When I tell you, you're going to be like, holy shit. Okay, it makes kind of sense.
Nixon?
Nope. Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, right. Yeah, that would make sense.
Jesse the Body. Yeah. So because he came out and won Minnesota, everybody was like, what? The wrestler? How did he do it? So the technique was to come out, just be pompous, loud, say whatever. They were like, just say whatever comes to mind and just be
he
loud.
went as a 9/11 denier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
And so they were like, just come out, just say whatever outlandish thing you want and be loud about it and be confident about it. You say it enough times, people are going to believe it. And then they're like, find out, just say whatever gets the most applause and then run with it. Yeah. And so it said he found out the thing that got the most applause when he was starting. Like, he just said something off the cuff about securing the border from Mexico and we should build a wall. Like, he didn't. And then people got crazy about it. And he just kept saying it. He had no intention of building a wall.
That initial speech, he really was just spitballing.
What?
That initial speech when he came after he came down the escalator with I want to say now too, Melania. Yeah, he was just like he would just wait for it, because I remember there was like clearly personal stuff that he, I think, at some point realized was not relatable. He's like, and then I've been waiting 20 minutes for room service, and that's way too long. Even if my steak is well done, too long. And he's like, no one knows this. He was bitching about LaGuardia, and because I remember I was dipping in and out of it, because I would pot it up, and he'd be like, bankruptcy, and I pot it down and be like, and then I remember I pot it up. He's like, when's the last time Japan ever beat or lost to America? He literally said that. Like, yeah, there was kind of a big moment. Two of them, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And then I pot it down, and then I remember potting up. He's like, and there's only one Nathan's in all of LaGuardia. And I'm like, wow, okay, he's getting really personal now. Like, everyone has just lost everybody. I feel like he probably like reformulated in his head, like, okay, let's LaGuardia talk, because no one knows. Most Americans don't get room service. I don't know where their food comes from, but yeah, the stuff that worked.
I want you to transport. I want you to try to do me a favor, you and everybody that's listening and watching right now. Try to transport yourself back to that moment where you were just talking about during that interview, during that press conference, when he came down that escalator and he started talking all this crazy stuff. You would have never in 1 million years imagined that we would be right here, right now, doing this, ending his first term as president in the entire, like, I never thought in a million years he would make it past the first round of the primaries.
I knew it.
Come on, man.
As soon as the debate started, I knew he was the nominee.
How? Like, you think about the people that
humiliated everybody else. He made Jeb Bush cry, basically. Like, Jeb Bush was like, my brother did a nice job. And I'm like, well, you're not.
I get that. But
Rubio was like, near penis small. It was just like, it got so humiliating for the rest of them that it was, and let's face it, the lady who ran, who was the CEO from California,
the Xerox lady,
Carly Filipina or whatever, she didn't have a fucking shot. Ted Cruz, he called Ted Cruz's wife ugly and said his dad might have killed Kennedy. And Ted Cruz was like, well, it was a pleasure sharing the stage with you tonight, my buddy. I was like, well, Ted Cruz is out now. And at that point, Lindsey Graham, he gave out Lindsey Graham's cell phone number. And Lindsey was like, well, no one was really calling anyway. It's just nice to have some attention. It became so clear that
at that point, but when you first heard the name Donald Trump is
the first but the first time he actually he was in the primaries, and there was like, that first debate, everybody gets maybe 7-8 minutes, because there's 12 of them on stage, and I remember thinking, like, the real Republican here is John Kasich, but he terrifies me because he still thinks God or gays are inferior and all that real like mid-90s Republican shit. And then the only other person I remember is Trump, and he already had massive name recognition, and was, when you played clips the next day, who's going to play some conservative middling House representative from Ohio? You're going to play Donald Trump, because even when he wasn't holding office, Fox and Friends would give him 20 minutes just to scream into his speakerphone. So as soon as he did that, as soon as he was like, I'm going to make a wall so high it'll touch the moon, and everyone's like, that's enough. That'll probably do the job. No way that a Mexican is climbing a sun tall wall. That's way. I was like, yeah, he's definitely going to win.
You had great foresight, because I think maybe it was just me being naive, probably, then, because I had more faith in the conservative party than to fall for that crap. Like, I thought for sure that they were using him as somebody to prop up and knock out of the park every time he opened his mouth. I thought that's what they were doing. I thought they were letting him be a buffoon.
I think he kind of expected them to do that. I think the whole time he was like, when is someone going to call me out on my shit? I don't want to be this.
I just want, I'm trying to get some promotion here.
And, he starts like realizing, like, holy shit, I won last night's debate by a massive margin. So then you start to internalize that and be like, yeah, maybe I should be president. I don't think his campaign was very serious in the beginning, but to make an incredibly great analogy, I once ran for corresponding secretary in 6th grade for my student council, and it was just a joke campaign for me. But then some of the interest came back, and I was up by 7-8 votes. So I started taking it seriously. Next thing you know, I'm the corresponding secretary. I'm writing letters to other schools, thanking them for our field trips. I didn't want the job, but I got it. And I feel like that's very much like what Trump went through, and he would probably agree.
It's gotta be. I was 100% positive he was around doing the same thought process, man. I don't really want to, but I think it'd be cool to run. Yeah. Like, I'll shake up some shit and get real popular for a minute.
Yep.
But I didn't expect to win. Now that I am here, shit, let's make the most of it.
Yeah. It's rock and roll. He basically he's treated the White House like fucking, I don't know, 77 Aerosmith treated a hotel room. But we can fuck it up and get invited back, maybe. Yeah.
They can build this shit again. Light the curtains on fire, Mick.
Burn them. Yeah.
Oh God.
All right. Well, we're back on Tuesday, and Terry, so, and I think that this has been recommended by a few people. To inject others who are involved in our personal lives into the show, of course, if they're comfortable with it. So I'm having my dad on Tuesday.
All right.
I don't think you've ever spoken. Why does that sound so weird right now? Have you ever spoken? Am I using the right past tense?
That's right. No,
that's right.
Correct.
Spake sound right for a second.
Have you ever spake to my family?
I'm getting stupid. I'm watching so many Hallmark movies that I seriously, cookies is like a legitimate meal now. Like, what kind of cookies are we having for dinner?
We can either have
snickerdoodles. Yeah. But yeah, he's gonna come on. He's not only my dad, but he is an ex-hockey player. He won a couple of Stanley Cups, and then alongside him is going to be one of his teammates, Bob the Hound Kelly. But not only one of his teammates, but the first boss I ever had at my first job.
Oh, snap.
Prepubescent Zach Burns.
Doing what?
Selling sports apparel.
Ah.
Yeah, in the Echelon Mall in Voorhees, New Jersey. Still not quite out of my awkward period. Very terrified of everybody. But also wanting to sell them Calgary Flames jerseys.
And who wouldn't want one of those?
Exactly. So yeah, and then Terry, if there's anybody that you ever want to have on camera,
people are camera shy, but I'll talk to them and see what
maybe
happens.
the dog. You know, when I say that, I'd love to see the puppy because you're what now, like 4 weeks into obedience lessons. So I bet you there's some.
No, man. No. I got a hard-headed Rottweiler. Come in here and pee on the laptop. Have me electrocuted.
Any Christmassy things that you're doing this upcoming weekend? I'd like to hear people's Christmas plans if you have any, or is it just staring at your loved ones and then as they slowly become less loved one?
I think I'm just gonna listen to some Christmas music and drink some eggnog, man. I gotta tell you, this is because it got sad today, real quick, is that the Huskies football game versus Oregon got canceled due to COVID, which was disheartening like beyond belief because we hate Oregon with a passion. And it was for the Pac-12 championship North, for the North championship, that game. The winner would have been the Pac-12 North champion.
So now what's going to happen?
So now what has happened is, the silver lining is, we are the de facto Pac-12 champions of the North because we are 3-1 and they're 3-2, and we don't have to play. So, but the problem with that is, I don't think we're going to be out of the COVID protocol before the actual championship game next week.
Because who would you play then? You would play.
It would probably be USC. I think it's USC, but you have to have a mandatory number of days in between the positive testing and the positive, the contact tracing and all that stuff.
Right.
To field the team. So I don't know. We'll see.
Should we just skip to the bowls?
You can't. Like, they wouldn't even qualify. The only person that would be going to a bowl this year from the Pac-12 is whoever wins the championship.
I thought that they were just kind of waiving any sort of bowl regulations this year. Like if a bowl felt like it was profitable for you to have,
you can go.
You just go. It's kind of the way it should be. You have like crazy. Some teams are 9-1 and others are 1-2, but the 1-2 team is actually better. They just had 17 starters missing. It's a weird year.
This is the asterisk year for sure. So
for sure, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But actually, one more thing. NBA news today. Well, starting yesterday. Yeah, where do you think James Harden ends up?
Oh, shiz. Did he sign already?
No, he hates Houston all of a sudden.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought he might.
Now, big news is he either wants to go to Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Miami, or Philadelphia.
It would be great to be in that position to choose where you want to go at that level, and just know that wherever you land, you're going to make like 108. Yeah, a year.
No, he's going to max out, so he'll probably do 37, 38.
Yeah.
Wherever
I want to be at.
Here I am concerned about his well-being. Like, I just hope he likes the next place he gets to. What happened in Houston?
There are friendly people there.
I hope the fans are welcoming.
They're nice to him. Someone makes him cookies.
Like, honestly, for $38 million a year, there could be 17,000 dicks out every night pissing on me. This is how I earn a living. It's worth it.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah,
rain down on me.
All right, man. Well, have a great weekend.
You too, sir.
I'll talk to you on Tuesday.